everybody, and welcome to this amazing episode of Theorycraft where we put Freya back on Spellblade versus Hell. This is going to be fun so much. Let's see. So we're just going to go ahead and conclude the Spellblade because I think I did enough episodes with way too many gods to test it out. And I feel it really sticks to mages very well. Mostly Freya. Duh. Of course Kronos, but Kronos without Hasten Fatalis can be done, just because Hasten Fatalis isn't a thing you necessarily want to get on Kronos. And so we're just gonna go ahead and beat the crap out of Hell if we can. Now the thing with Hell is we might want to consider dropping our defensive item for anti-heal, because defense may not exactly save us against Hell, or it might. I don't think it will, because Hell typically just comes in and she heals. Those anti-heals are gonna be necessary to beat a Hell. Alright. Let's see. I can't yet. Oh, she's just healing. So my early game is absolute trash. The most I can do is actually hurt the back row. She ran out of mana. What the hell? No! It's mine. Oh, got some money back. Not a whole lot, but some. We're really going to need that Telkin's Ring to be our defense and then go ahead with Divine Ruin in place of a massive defense item. Ow. Okay, that hurt. Need Telkins. A little bit. After that. Telkin's coming next. Damn, I was gonna fly away, but not getting Banish in time was a bad idea. Could have just ran from that. My early game is especially weak, so giving her first blood, not the greatest idea. She's just gonna keep hitting it. But at least I've got significantly more attack speed. Oh, that's creepy. That was absolutely creepy. So we're going to go ahead and mute her because I don't want that to happen again. But I kicked the crap out of her, and that's good. Let's go ahead and just mute her. I don't really appreciate people who macro at all. And honestly, don't particularly like wasting any of my time on that. I have no idea. Okay, I must have missed a conversation earlier. Been a little busy. So yeah, I mean, she's just being a pain as usual. I guess she assumed she was getting away. Which, thankfully, that still slows her. Need 2 seconds before. Okay, she cleared the whole thing. I need to clear everything behind her. Yeah, there was no escaping that. With that big wave of minions, nope. Alright, this is just gonna be painful for a little while until I can get Telkins to give me a little more protections. Lost a huge amount of golden experience right there because I couldn't clear anything. And until I get my 2 up to its max, I'm really not going to be able to clear anything at all. Oh hell. Oh, you are so ridiculously powerful. Why did it swap targets? Wow, out of range of everything. Missed every single shot. I'm getting to the point of dealing damage. If I can get my Telkins online, Winged Blade, then Divine Ruin, I don't think she'll go with early defense. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Killing minions is such a pain, and Freya, you are a mana-hungry person. Alright, but I got Telkins.
I was born ready.
Good. Get the mana up. You might... no, we'll be good without another mana potion. I'm not looking to sustain half my towers down, and she's got the pen boots. Ooh. Alright, so I got the defense, though, which should help me... Which should help protect me from 10 of that pen, which is what that pen provides. Ah, missed another important. She missed that one point blank. There we go. Cleared it moderately well. Need more attack speed, which we're going for winged now. As long as I can land the abilities on her, she'll take a huge chunk of damage. Then Divine Ruin in place of the defensive item.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, the damage is already getting sufficient. I'm going to ignore my ult for now. I do want blue buff. She's most likely got my first tower. No problem. Like, I just don't see it being a problem for her to just take this. But I've been defending it moderately well. If she comes back to the red, I could be in a little bit of trouble. So I have about the same movement speed without her speed buff. My slow should be sufficient enough to keep her off me or let me catch up. And then I follow up with my 1 with my 2. I'll let it make those shots.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I know it is. Good, she missed. I wasted that a little too early. Ah, fudge. Shouldn't have walked backwards, actually should have kept walking forward. Ugh, I'm such an idiot. I went the wrong direction. Yeah, I do that thing. Nobody likes that I do that thing. But I most definitely do that thing you don't like me to do. There we are. So Winged Blade's about to become a thing. Then if I stay for 400, I actually could just go for Divine Ruin to slow her healing so I could deal a lot more. She got Heavenly Agility, which I'll get Weakening Curse, which completely stops the benefit of Heavenly Agility. Which I don't see why she got Heavenly Agility, to be quite honest. That doesn't actually save them at all, but okay. And Divine Ruin should be available to me now that I've got all that. There we go. So that should stop her healing a little bit. 40%. This doesn't exactly counter it by 25 exactly. It's just it increases it by 25, then I reduce her overall total by 40%. I think I am... There we go. Ow. 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 I got a little bit of healing myself. But she could overall just kill me at this point. 500 life is not hard to do. She does 300 with one spell. There we go. So we're gonna go ahead and back. I think I can actually finish winged. Gives me more movement, a little more health. And then she's most likely now going to take tower. She's got full cooldowns. I don't have full, but I've got cooldowns. 10%. Not a whole lot, but it's enough to keep me going. Okay. So with her anywhere and me consuming my mana way too much and not jungling, I don't think she's jungling very much either. I don't know why. I just had to stay away. All that stops the healing. Because as long as I hit her with any kind of spell, healing comes to a kind of halt. Alright, there we go. Don't know if I can take her without my ult. I don't think I could. Good idea would just be clear wave and then go for a jungle buff. Whew, man, at least I can fight. But I'm out of mana. But she had a red buff. But I am out of mana. So, I'm just gonna back right here. And I actually want to start buying obsidian for when she starts to get defense. And then Rada to Hootie piece just because. It gives a little more power, a little more mana regen. Not enough, but she got a winged blade to stop my slows. Which is fine. It's actually not that grand on Hell. Gives her a little more health, so she'll be able to survive an extra basic attack from me on top of having more movement speed than me already. But that doesn't make up for the amount of damage she loses. Because it doesn't give any damage, it gives attack speed. Oh my goodness. Why do you not just die? She doesn't die, which is annoying. But oh well, that's hell for you. I won't allow her to have any defense. Which is insane on her movement speed, honestly it is. Until she starts building for defense, I'm actually going to put a little bit into Rod to Hootie, and there's the defense.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Crap. And now I gotta save up for... I have to save up for the other item. No tower to run to, but I should still be able to deal a ton of damage. So now she's gonna be a little faster, but I knocked the proc off her. There we are. Alright, I gotta wait 5 seconds for this buff to fade. Her clear is amazing, and I can't deal any damage until I can get an obsidian shard, or at least the half of the piece I want, which is only... Oh, I can get it, 740 and then 1290. Alright, so we're gonna actually back, because I could get a piece of pen. Oh, wow. Okay, so her spell missed, but her basic landed, which is a little confusing. But that's okay. Had I chosen to back, I wouldn't have been able to get the full pen item. There we go. Full pen item coming up. Just gotta go for it immediately. The other minions will be on their way, but this still gives me enough time to grab the pen item. She has no pen, and she had no minions under the Phoenix, so the damage she's dealing to it is minimal, and that'll recover no problem. Ah, thought that'd hit for sure. I was mistaken. Really might want that weakening curse just to make her heals diminish completely, but still need money for Rod Tahuti, which is going to make my power unbelievably high. I got red though, doing pretty good. I think she went to go check it out herself, but too late, I already took it. Well, I thought I was aiming at him. Kind of. A little bit at least. Let's go ahead and take purple for the gold. There she is. Thank you, goodbye. Alright, well I took plenty of damage for that. Don't necessarily want to die. But I can at least heal from this. She got Shield of the Underworld, which again, against mages it doesn't do so well. I don't know how many times I've mentioned that, but it really doesn't. So once I have Rod Tahuti, which I do now, I'll deal an insane amount of damage. And if she gets pen, which she's not, I already have a little bit of protections. I think I'll be good. But she does have a small flat amount. Alright, weakening curse is 900. She took the other red. She probably went for my blue on top of that. See. Still trying to figure this out, because if she gets the Rod Tahuti, her damage is going to spike on me. Alright, she used the protection debuff, which I totally forgot she has a protection debuff. Alright, I need weakening. I need it bad. Plus sprint, I think? Let's get weakening and a piece of sprint. Come on. Need those heals. Hela's pretty annoying and powerful for as much as she can do for what she has. I love Hel. She's easy to play. You just have to learn how to aggressively play her, and you can win a lot of your matches that way. In fact, I know a few friends who got a huge boost from playing Hel and getting up there in the ranks with just Hel alone. Just like how I got Poseidon. But if she wastes that ability on, you know, me first, I don't see why. Have to wait 6 seconds. Her movement debuff is down. So she's gonna heal. So she's increased her healing dramatically. Alright, barely survived that fight. But the point is we made it, and I'm going to use this level 1 sprint to just get a little movement boost, run back here, and then try to get full sprint, heal a little bit, and maybe a potion. But the unfortunate thing is that was my ult, and I don't get a whole lot of those, unfortunately. Unlike her, who has an endless stream of spells, I don't think I could necessarily keep up with her. But I think the additional healing from Divine Ruin is actually helping out here. By a good amount, too. She's low on mana. And I don't mind hitting her up a whole lot. Oh, I got her to use it up! Sweet! I think this fight is still in my favor. But I don't know if I can pressure anymore. Could just go get red buff. I mean, that would be what skyrockets my power a little above and beyond what it is right now. It might give me the advantage against her. I do still have Weakening Curse. I still have a good chunk of mana. There we go. There we go. She couldn't use the healing to her advantage and her Shield of the Underworld was down. Freaking take that sucker out. I think I can get both Phoenix and Tower with this, maybe. If I can make the press good enough. 10 seconds, I think I get it. Oh my gosh. That was such a bad time for her to die, and I think me picking up red buff was literally a reason that I was able to get it. Plus the Divine Ruin exchange for a defensive item definitely puts this fight in my favor. Got it. I mean, I died, but I got it. So that means I lose red buff, but the left red should be up. And meanwhile, Fire Minion should be pushed in. So by the time we both return, I should be able to claim the left buff with 2 power potions, and she got a second defensive item. What did she sacrifice for the first? I'm trying to remember what she had. I don't recall what she had. But double defense is not going to work. Too much defense is just redundant on anybody. Unless you're going pure anti-crits, it helps, but again, it becomes redundant. Unless you've got a huge source of power. Which I don't think Hell currently does. Her base is alright, but it's not working for her. Is she pushing for my Phoenix? Well, that's fine if she does, I guess. Eh, I can help. I'm doing good. And she bullied me all game. She went to go check for the red. I think she went to check for the right red. I already had it. She went to check for the left red. I just took it. This fight is now in my favor. Oh, she swapped Winged Blade. Okay, well that was it. I really can't take a hit from it, so I'd rather not. But the 14 seconds I've won. I'm already here. Everything's good. This hell put up a hell of a fight, but still, ugh. The movement speed on me makes it very viable that when I choose to go in and amplify my basic attacks to an extreme level, I could just charge in there with minimal defense, and I get the lifesteal from Divine Ruin in replace of defense. So the defensive item's a little fluid. Thank you everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, good game. Hello everybody and welcome to the end screen. Wish my opponent the good games and explain how this build and how it concludes. So this build essentially works mostly on Freya, can work on Kronos, it's okay on Poseidon, and on Ao Kuang it's questionable, but for the most part it works well for those who can amplify the basic attack damage and use Telkin's Ring. Zhong Kui is one of those gods that can definitely use Telkin's Ring, because he gets the extra basic attack, which makes Telkins go from 40 to 80 damage, which is intense at an early level. Even in the end games, 80 damage to your basic attack is pretty intense. So for Freya, on how this works against Hell is, normally you would go a defensive item to fight somebody else, but being that Hell will go through your defense with a very high base damage, especially if she got Pen, I swapped out my defense for something that would stop her from healing, due to the fact that defense would not help me in this fight. And the same goes for Aphrodite. Aphrodite typically deals a high amount of damage, and especially against a magical god, your Telkin's Ring gives you 30 protections, which is sufficient to survive one burst attack. But then you can also sacrifice your real defensive item for a utility-based item that'll help you push forward. In this case, Divine Ruin really helps save the day. Typically, I'd only use this against Hel and Aphrodite. I wouldn't even use it against Shang-Ah. Her heal is not as high as the others, but can be a little annoying. Well, then that's really how it works for me. I mean, that was it. So, let's go ahead and go to the conclusion screen and talk about its overall prowess on the battlefield. Alright everybody, let's conclude this build, the Spellblade. I think it's a pretty standard attack speed build, and a lot of people agree in the comments. However, standard is different, especially since this build lacks boots, and there seems to be a trend here where I'm not grabbing boots. And here's why. Boots are relatively weak. You are buying boots for a high movement speed factor and very minimal stats on the side. So for example, even if I wanted the cooldown boots, it's the Shoes of Focus, Winged Blade gives that cooldown effect, as it's 5% less of cooldown. Doesn't give any power but gives more health. But Winged Blade better complements Freya's attack speed, and if you're trying to get an attack speed god going, more attack speed typically helps. So instead of sacrificing, your attack speed for 5% more cooldown and extra movement, instead just grab Winged Blade, because typically a Freya will grab Haste and Fatalis and boots, but you don't need that because when you fight normal opponents, they only usually have boots, meaning Winged Blade, Haste, and Fatalis still makes you faster than them. Now, it's very important to remember that you only want one of the two rings, not both, and I highly recommend Telkin's. The reason not Demonic is because Demonic's penetration is not that good. Even against a god, Sphere of the Magus is better. So if you were to get Demonic for Pen, you might as well pick up Sphere of the Magus just so you can get even more Pen. And then Telkin's also deals 40 damage outright. That is more than a lot of these power items will give you. Rada Tahuti hardly gives you that. It gives you 40, but it's that moment that Rada Tahuti is the only other item on this build that gives you outright power to your basic attack. Being that Freya is a basic attack god with all of her spells except her ult, you might as well get Telkin's even against a physical god. Keep in mind, if the opponent rushes protections, you will need early Pen. if you want Telkins to work. Therefore, if they do rush the protections, you can get Demonic early game to help you get through that, and as you get Obsidian Shards, swap out for Telkins to improve your basic attack damage. Rod Tahuti is your only damage item of this build, being that everything else gives less than 100 power. Your final item of this build, which you can put anywhere in between this build, this is in no particular order, is a situational item such as the Divine Ruin I picked up, or a defensive item of your choosing. You want this item to keep you viable. The stats for this build are not impressive. They are balanced, except for your laning phase on Freya. Your offense is damn good and doesn't lack anything, but it doesn't excel anywhere, being you have to wait till late game to get this power going, and even then, a lot of gods can still challenge your power. Defense-wise, you have a lot of movement speed, and you will move faster than your opponent by 2%. And you can also outmaneuver him with a Hasten Fatalis, along with a slow on top of that. If you were to pick up a Gem of Isolation as your situational item, that better helps you control the phase, but otherwise, your defense and offense are just relatively balanced. Your laning phase is the hardest part on Freya. It's really weak in the beginning, and it doesn't get that much better. You can wipe the lane, but it takes up your whole 2 ability, which you need to fight. So I left it at 2 because it's just not the strongest. Her jungling and objective pressure are again nothing weak, but nothing too good. It's balanced. It's right there. It's where you want it to be. Other than struggling in lane, this build actually doesn't do half bad against anybody. You do counter slows, you move pretty fast, you attack quickly, and you also have enough power to kill a defensive opponent or burst a squishy opponent. It's just well balanced for you to use, and is another way to play other than the standard Warlock Sash with boots and a Hasten Rod Tahuti. It's just a good build for a Freya. Now remember, this does work on Zhonghui and can work on other gods, but the best god this build shines for is Freya, which is why there's only a Freya slot here. So thank you all for watching. The next theory craft is actually going to be for assassins. Be prepared, it's Thor for this one. I should also mention, the Fat Stacks theory craft conclusion I should put here too. It doesn't work anymore. Not even with just losing Heartseeker, losing Heartseeker as an item that is viable killed the build. It was a very high power item, and without that, even taking the item out of the build and replacing it with something else just does not give you the power that the other builds give you. So this next theory craft is going to replace it for assassins and make a standard typical assassin build that you can use on non-crit gods. That's what we're looking at there. But other than that, I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and as always, good game.